We have with us Justice B Sudershan Reddy, an eminent jurist who has been a strong proponent of social and economic justice all his life and has upheld the Constitution as a judge of the Supreme Court and earlier as Chief Justice of the Guwahati High Court. Welcome to PTI, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chopra.
You are the first former judge of the Supreme Court to contest the vice presidential election. How did your candidature come out, and which opposition parties made the offer?
The first move in this regard came from India Alliance. But since you are asking the party's name, which party first proposed or contacted you in this regard, it was Congress Party.
So was this contest an easy decision to make, or did you have any doubts given the numbers in the Electoral College are heavily stacked against the opposition?
No, how I thought about the whole issue is this. When the proposal came from the Congress Party, I said it may be difficult for me to become a candidate of the Congress Party as such if India Alliance considers it appropriate to accept my candidature, then only I will be a candidate on behalf of India Alliance.
So what was the motivation, sir?
There is nothing like motivation, Mr. Chopra. My journey has begun in 1971 when I was enrolled as a member of the Bar Council. Ever since, I am associated with the functioning of the Constitution, its values, its conventions. Right from the day I started the practice, and it continues till today. I consider this journey is the same, ultimately culminating, if given an opportunity, to protect and defend the Constitution. Hitherto, I was upholding the Constitution. That's the oath administered to a judge. And there are only 3 offices in this country. The prescribed oath mandates that they have to protect and defend the Constitution. That is the highest office of the Republic of India. President of India, Vice President of India, and the governors at the state level. So this journey is nothing new to me. Yes.
So it has been argued that top constitutional posts should be filled by consensus to reflect national unity. So what are your views on this?
I wish there could have been a consensus. But the polity as it stands is a fractured one. In the circumstances, perhaps it is inevitable, leading to this contest.
So how would you describe the current state of democracy and the government opposition ties? Currently we see a lot of strain.
Earlier we used to talk about deficit economy. There is a deficit democracy. I do not say that India is no more a democratic country. I don't subscribe to that view. We still continue to be a constitutional democracy, but under strain.
And about the government opposition ties?
I wish it could have been better. Instead of reducing the discourse to the level as we see today, it could have been better. Earlier, the opposition parties and the party in power used to coordinate on many national issues. unfortunately, which we don't find today.
You have said that this election is not about one individual, but about the idea of India. So, can you elaborate on this?
Yes. Certainly not about a contest between me and Sri Radhakrishnan ji. It is a contest representing two different ideologies. One which the other side themselves are propagating, that here is a person, quintessential RSS man. Therefore, the country should elect him as the vice president. So far as I am concerned, I do not subscribe to that ideology, and I am far, 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 far away from it. I am essentially a liberal constitutional democrat. This is the area, or rather the arena, for the contest where the fight goes on.
So, the Vice President is also the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, and you have talked about your commitment to decorum and dialogue. So, what do you have to say on the politics of disruptions that is emerging as a regular feature now in Parliament?
You see, the difficulty is this, Mr. Chopra. Somebody, an eminent journalist like you, asked my friend, Shri Arun Jaitley, when they were frequently disturbing the Rajya Sabha. The views expressed by that departed soul, who is not amongst us today, disruption also is a legitimate political activity and a parliamentary practice. Whether a particular disruption at a particular point of time was correct or not is a different matter. But disruptions do take place. Disruption is nothing but one form of dissent. If you are not allowed to speak or express your views, this is one form of speaking. That's how I look at the disruption. Not that I wish that disruption should become an essential and an integral part of democratic process.
So, opposition parties have unanimously chosen you as their joint candidate for the second highest constitutional position in the country. So, what factors weighed in your favor that makes you stand out?
I feel greatly honored. But when I look at the rainbow of the political parties unanimously agreeing on my name and sponsoring my candidature, but there was nothing surprising as such. All of them knew my work. All of them have watched me quite for some time. They must have used their discretion and thought it fit that I should be their candidate. And I feel greatly honored for more than one reason. First, it represents the diversity. Secondly, the unanimous choice. Thirdly, in terms of voting strength, if you make an analysis, they represent more than 63-64% of the population. What else could be an honor, Mr. Chopra?
So, now that you are in the contest, you also come under attack. So, just yesterday, Home Minister Amit Shah has accused you of supporting, quote unquote, nationalism, Naxalism. He's also cited your judgment on Salvajudam, saying that it has been there, had it not been there, left-wing extremism would have ended by 2020.
Uh, I do not wish to join an issue directly with the Honorable Home Minister of India, whose constitutional duty and obligation is to protect the life, liberty, and property of every citizen, irrespective of ideological differences. Secondly, I have authored the judgment. Judgment is not mine. Judgment is of the Supreme Court. There was another judge sitting with me, and repeated attempts were made to get it overruled, but it didn't happen. On merits of the judgment, I would not speak because I am trained by my peers that one should not speak about the greatness of one's own judgment. It's for the people to judge. It's not my personal document. I wish the Honorable Home Minister could have himself read the whole judgment instead of getting briefed by, I do not know, hopefully he would not have that much time to read the judgment, which runs into about 40 pages. If he would have read the judgment, perhaps he would not have made that comment. That's all I say, and leave it there.
So you don't want to disturb the decorum of the debate?
No. There must be a decency in the debate.
What do you have to say on your opponent, who's been a governor and a politician in the past, unlike you?
Perhaps he was discharging his constitutional duties and obligations to the best of his ability, about which I have no comment to make.
So the vice president's election you are contesting was necessitated due to sudden resignation of Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar. So what do you feel about the circumstances in which he put in his papers?
Jagdeep Dhankar ji himself is a senior lawyer and a veteran of many battles. It may be appropriate for him to disclose the reasons why he has to leave the office all of a sudden. I do not wish to indulge in any guesswork.
You've always held the constitution close to yourself. What do you feel about the tirade launched by the opposition against the government over protection of the constitution? Is it under serious threat?
You see, constitution, you can't just read the articles and say that no article is under threat. Constitution is an integral one. Constitution means constitutional conventions. Constitution means constitutional morality. There are various steps taken by the government in power making one feel legitimately that it is coming under challenge. Therefore, the debate that is going on in the country, whether the constitution is under attack, is a welcome debate where everyone should participate and express their opinion.
So your take on the recent controversy about the words socialist and secular in the preamble. The RSS and some leaders of the BJP have questioned the formulations introduced under late Indira Gandhi.
Those somebody quote unquote, I would not say anything. are not quiet even today, even after the decision by the Supreme Court of India. According to me, the socialist and the secular expressions used in the preamble of the Constitution have made things explicit, which is otherwise inbuilt in the provisions of the Constitution. You talk about equality, Article 14. If it is not secular, then what is the equality? You talk about fraternity, one of the most important value according to me. What would be the fraternity without secularism? And without the expression socialism, what is the equality we are talking about it? Both the words which are made explicit, the idea contained in the Constitution are welcome. It is true that amendment came, that is 42nd Amendment, when emergency was invoked. But one must remember, the government next that came into power, that is the Janata government, consisting of various political parties, including the present BJP, which was the Janasangh at that time, have unanimously approved it. Therefore, one fails to understand with what intention that debate is being triggered now. Thank you.
You headed a panel to assess the merits of the caste survey in Telangana. Why is there a need for a caste survey? Many also argue that a caste census will further fragment our already fractured society and deepen fault lines.
The people who advanced that argument which you are now advancing before me have fallen in line, realized the importance of caste survey. Please tell me, Mr. Chopra, how do you identify the backward classes? Because the Constitution doesn't speak about the caste. If you have to classify a group together, some people as the backward classes, you have to find out their caste, their socio-economic conditions, their way of living, their access to power, and the way they are recognized by the society. Caste survey has to be done. Now the government of India, which intends to conduct the census, have announced, yes, in this survey, census, caste survey also would be there. We have to find out, isn't it? How many scheduled castes people are there? How do we fix the reservations? I won't reveal the data which we have analyzed as an expert group headed by me. But one thing I can share with you about my own state, Telangana. 84.6% people belong to the weaker sections of the society.
That's quite a number.
So, how do you propose to frame your social and economic policies? How do you empower them? How do you make them to feel that they are equal citizens of this country? Not that by giving some doles or some temporary succor would meet the impending challenge which many people don't realize. Their empowerment is mandated by the provisions of the Constitution. Therefore, you have to find out their strength and frame your socio-economic policies
accordingly.
accordingly.
This contest for the vice president's post has emerged as a South versus South battle, with both you and your opponent hailing from Telangana and Tamil Nadu. And politics of southern states are at play. So both sides have played up, regional identities.
At least in this area, I would borrow the idea from the other side. I don't say my opponents are from the other side, that India is one. India is one nation. There is only one citizenship. No citizenship for South India and no citizenship for North India and another for Northeast. Therefore, this dialogue it is between South and North. I don't think we should entertain that debate at all.
So would you be also?
The other candidate, Sri Radhakrishnan ji, is an eminent citizen of this country. I am also a citizen. I do not know whether I am eminent or not, but I am also a citizen of this country. Both of them are competing for an office. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less.
So would you be also seeking the support of some independent parties who have not yet supported your candidature?
I will be definitely seeking it, Mr. Chopra, not only the parties. I would be seeking the support of every parliamentarian, whether they belong to NDA, whether they belong to India, whether they have their own regional outfits, because ultimately the electoral college consists of the parliamentarians, honorable members of the parliament, not the political parties. I intend to appeal in writing to every member of the parliament to exercise their discretion and accordingly exercise their franchise.
You've given several landmark judgments, including the one criticizing the former union government for showing slackness in probing black money cases. And you also, set up an SIT to bring back black money stashed abroad.
The work is still in progress.
But nothing has happened as yet, sir. So how important is it to bring that black money back?
It is important. A substantial section of a nation's wealth moved out of country through various means and mechanisms. That has to be brought back. It's our money, your money, my money, and the nation's wealth. Unless somebody tells us, you and me, that there is no black economy, there is no black money, nothing moved from the country.
So the
other side who were holding that judgment in their hands in the election campaign implement the judgment of none other than the veteran great warrior L.K. Advani ji. He was holding it in hand.
He underwent a countrywide yatra also on this.
With the judgment in his hand. And after my retirement, there was an occasion to interact with him. He never raised and asked me any question about salva judium. But I appreciated the effort made by the Supreme Court, not by me, to unearth the black.
Just the last question. Recent years have also seen Mahatma Gandhi versus Ambedkar versus Nehru narratives. So your comments on?
My comment is, if you read superficially Gandhi and Ambedkar and Nehru, some misconceptions and misunderstanding in our mind, as if they were at loggerheads and they differed radically in their views. No. Quintessentially, all the three of them were great Democrats, Republicans, and believed in the ethics and morals of the Constitution. I do not think it would be in the interest of the nation to divide them into three segments, and one supporting and the other opposing, and creating a false narrative is not in the nation's interest.
Since you are contesting the election and campaign is an important part of elections, so what would be your message to the electorate and to the country on this election?
Well, all through my life, I said I was upholding the Constitution. If you give me an opportunity to serve this country, I will try to defend and protect the Constitution of India, which undoubtedly is coming under challenge. The message is there is still possibility of a reasonably good and healthy debate amongst ourselves in this country. We talk to so many foreign countries. We discuss with them. Sometimes we declare a particular country to be enemy country. We still have diplomatic relations. We still exchange notes. So what's the problem? Why you and I cannot talk daily, every day? Democracy is nothing but interaction, clash of ideas, not individuals. That would be my message.
Thank you, Justice Reddy, for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you.